The wait is absolutely over. New Raiders head coach Klint Kubiak just broke his silence at the league meetings. The biggest bombshell? He is dead set against throwing a rookie quarterback into the fire during year one. Ideally, he envisions a seasoned pro commanding the offense and steering the ship while the young prospect observes. Reality strikes hard, though that ideal veteran presence is never guaranteed. Without a seasoned mentor blazing the trail, a fresh prospect could be forced to step up immediately. Developing them from the sidelines is the ultimate goal. But professional football rarely goes according to plan. Ultimately, drafting a rock-solid individual who can fiercely battle through absolute chaos is completely non-negotiable. That mental toughness matters whether they debut on opening day or wait until year two, which makes this whole situation incredibly fascinating. Watching Las Vegas navigate this minefield will be thrilling, especially since John Spytek explicitly promised a massive hunt for a veteran arm within days or weeks. Right now, Kirk Cousins completely dominates the conversation as their ultimate prize. Frankly, Raider Nation needs to brace for a seasoned gunslinger taking the reins when the season kicks off. That means Aidan O'Connell, Kirk Cousins, or another battle-tested warrior stepping under center. Minority owner Tom Brady dropped incredible insight recently about rushing rookies into action, noting the stark death of actual college developmental programs. Today's collegiate landscape just features teams exchanging superficial playbooks instead of building deep foundational knowledge. His monumental 5-year stint at Michigan offered a genuine pro-style crucible, mastering defensive reads, complex coverages, and elite drop-back mechanics. He fiercely battled his way up from 7th string, conquering the depth chart to finally become the undisputed starter. That brutal collegiate grind forged his foundation, perfectly setting the stage for Coach Belichick's masterful development in New England. Sitting out his maiden season, he views tossing modern rookies into the fire as a complete disaster, only made possible by tragically dumbing down the professional game. The sport once demanded unparalleled intellect, requiring grueling, endless off-season hours just to gain a microscopic edge. Now, brilliant offensive minds are forced to abandon complex schemes because incoming talent simply lacks the mental capacity for deep-level execution. Coaches essentially settle for bare minimums, while the modern league remains dangerously obsessed with throwing unproven kids onto the battlefield immediately. When franchises burn a first, second, or third overall pick, the immense pressure to start them day one is absolutely crushing. That exact toxic expectation shatters rookie confidence completely, creating a massive warning sign for Las Vegas right now. Las Vegas must absolutely avoid shoving a highly anticipated prospect like Fernando Mendoza into the starting role prematurely. His arrival feels inevitable, but pairing him with an elite, battle-scarred veteran leader changes everything. That invaluable buffer zone lets him deeply master the playbook, turning him into a lethal weapon before his number is officially called. Make no mistake, if he absolutely obliterates training camp and dominates the offseason, he undoubtedly deserves that opening day crown. Earning that starting spot requires undeniable proof of greatness. Otherwise, rushing him out the gate is a catastrophic mistake. Meanwhile, recent reports reveal he is intensely training with Brian Grease, aggressively digesting complex offensive schemes to dominate his upcoming draft stock. That proactive grind is an incredibly massive victory. Knowing he is tirelessly preparing to seize the Las Vegas reins on opening day reveals terrifyingly elite competitive drive. Still, forcing an unready prospect is career suicide, perfectly echoing Klint Kubiak's dream scenario of letting young talent breathe. But let us be brutally honest, perfection is a myth, and this franchise thrives in sheer chaos. The odds violently tilt toward a 60 to 40% probability of a rookie debut on opening day, though rolling with Aidan O'Connell remains a solid fallback. Die-hard supporters swear Aidan possesses the ultimate starting pedigree, and honestly, discounting him would be foolish. While lacking decade-long miles, his fierce trench experience makes him a dangerously capable bridge option. Yet the explosive rumors constantly drag us back to Kirk Cousins as the undisputed heavy favorite. Do not sleep on the wild cards, though scrappy veterans like Tyrod Taylor or a shocking Jimmy Garoppolo reunion still lurk in the shadows. That might make your stomach churn, since these hardly represent blockbuster, jaw-dropping acquisitions. Regardless, surviving this brutal season absolutely demands finding a competent mercenary to hold the fort until their rookie savior truly ascends. Shifting gears entirely, Kubiak delivered a massive soundbite regarding the sudden collapse of that blockbuster Baltimore trade, capturing his raw reaction perfectly. Hearing the news directly from the front office sparked pure euphoria. Realizing their defensive monster, Max, was staying put felt like winning the absolute lottery. Retaining that superstar instantly supercharged the roster. He immediately messaged the defensive phenom, only to find him ruthlessly attacking his rehab the very next morning as if the trade rumors were sheer ghost. This relentless work ethic perfectly echoes the epic tales swirling around his podcast, cementing exactly what the front office hyped up just 24 hours ago. Let me tell you about that absolutely hilarious soundbite from John yesterday, where reporters grilled him on Baltimore bailing on their trade deal. They pressed him on whether Vegas ever considered tearing up their own free agency contracts, and man, he fired an absolute missile straight at the Ravens' front office. Reporters wanted to know if the front office ever got cold feet during that waiting period before the ink actually dried on those contracts. Did they ever think about pulling the plug? His answer was a rock-solid negative, declaring they aggressively hunted their primary targets and locked them down. He confidently stated they handed out massive, well-deserved contracts to secure top-tier talent, putting the franchise in a perfect position to retain every single one of those absolute ballers. Whatever wild alternate reality could have happened, turning their backs on those agreed contracts was never on the table. Now that is exactly the legendary energy we need. That absolute loyalty is what makes him a supreme champion and the greatest of all time. Pure legendary status. Bravo, John, because that cutthroat professionalism is exactly how we handle our business out here in Sin City. Taking a step back, my heart is absolutely pumping knowing this legendary franchise successfully managed to secure the return of absolute beast Max Crosby while officially locking down every single targeted free agent, which is a monumental victory. This roster is infinitely more dangerous right now than it was just a few months back. Shifting gears, offensive mastermind Klint Kubiak dropped a massive bombshell regarding a specific player standing out. And when pressed on who was blowing him away at camp, he shockingly dropped the name of explosive wideout Trey Tucker. He literally raved about how mesmerizing it is to watch Tucker absolutely tear up the gridiron. He called him the ultimate embodiment of Raider culture, praising his relentless play style, his brotherhood in the locker room, and comparing his savage mentality to Max. We have a core group of 25 absolute warriors grinding alongside AJ 4 to 5 days a week as we speak. A ruthless blue-collar atmosphere has completely taken over this facility, and Tucker is the prime example of that relentless grind. Sure, he might lack that giant prototypical receiver frame, but his competitive fire and unyielding heart are absolutely off the charts, a completely accurate breakdown. 100% facts! And honestly, throughout every single locker room I have ever stepped foot in, there are always those sleeper athletes who completely shock the system. Exactly like what we witnessed during last season's battles. Look at Jack defying all expectations on the perimeter. He stepped way out of his comfort zone and delivered an incredibly heroic performance. Listen up. Getting that level of monumental hype from our brand new commander-in-chief is unbelievable, particularly for a pass catcher who has fiercely clawed his way into the spotlight recently, famously carrying the crushing burden of being our top target last year when our depth chart was completely decimated. We witnessed Tucker completely unleash his arsenal and prove to the world exactly what kind of deadly weapon he truly is. I am fully convinced that operating inside Kubiak's explosive new system will launch Tucker directly into superstar territory. Now, am I crowning him our undisputed top target? No, I am definitely not ready to hand him the keys to the alpha receiver throne just yet. However, if they weaponize him perfectly, we are staring down the barrel of an absolutely legendary, career-defining breakout season for him. The fan base was screaming to sign a speedster like Rashid Shaheed. But ladies and gentlemen, we already have our own lethal speed demon waiting in the wings. There is a massive opportunity here to deploy Tucker with the exact same lethal precision that Seattle uses to maximize their slot superstars. I am certainly not declaring they are identically matched in talent, but that explosive ceiling is absolutely within reach. Seeing Tucker relentlessly attacking the offseason grind to evolve his game is an incredibly promising indicator. And if he organically transforms into an elite aerial threat, it becomes a massive triumph for this franchise and potentially saves us from blowing draft capital on another pass catcher. While my gut still screams that the front office needs more artillery in that receiver room, his burning hunger to dominate is a phenomenal victory in itself. Never forget that this kid entered the professional ranks learning directly under the wing of the absolute god of route running, Davante Adams. Let that sink in. He might not shatter every historic milestone, but he is primed to be a completely terrifying under-the-radar assassin for Vegas this season. All right, Raider Nation, sound off with your fiery takes on this squad. Tell me if you are buying the massive hype Kubiak dropped at the podium today. And definitely call me out if I overlooked any major storylines. Drop all your burning concerns and massive hype in the comments section right now. Until we clash again, this is Small Raider signing off with an absolute boom. The Las Vegas Raiders' intense battle for the starting quarterback throne has completely hijacked the football world's attention. Incoming offensive mastermind Klint Kubiak drew a hard line in the sand. He absolutely refuses to throw an unproven rookie into the fire on day one. His master plan? Let a battle-tested veteran command the huddle while the fresh blood absorbs every crucial lesson safely from the bench. But let us face brutal facts in this league. Perfectly scripted fairy tales almost never survive reality. Gridiron chaos, shattering injuries, and sudden roster holes constantly drag franchises kicking and screaming into absolute worst-case scenarios. Vegas might still be forced to shove an untested kid directly into the blinding spotlight, demanding unbreakable mental armor and lightning-fast survival instincts out of the gate. The stakes skyrocket when the greatest of all time, Tom Brady, openly blasts the lethal modern habit of sacrificing unprepared prospects to the wolves. Brady pointed out a harsh truth: modern college programs are severely failing to equip these athletes for the relentless, bone-crushing demands of the professional arena. His own legendary ascent, built on grueling patience and years in the shadows, completely shatters today's toxic rush for instant gratification. This dangerous, impatient culture forces terrified coaches to gut their playbooks, watering down elite strategies just to keep overwhelmed rookies afloat. Now Vegas walks an absolute tightrope, satisfying a rabid fan base craving wins today, while desperately shielding their potential future savior from early destruction. Ground zero of this massive strategy hinges on landing a seasoned general like Kirk Cousins, a name fiercely dominating every backroom negotiation. Securing a proven field general changes everything, forging an ironclad shield so a raw talent like Fernando Mendoza can grow without suffocating under the lights. Meanwhile, Aidan waits in the wings like a loaded weapon, standing by as the ultimate emergency safety net if blockbuster trades crash and burn. The creeping unknown amps the suspense to a boiling point. Will they gamble everything on immediate glory, or carefully construct a dynasty for tomorrow? Make no mistake, whatever path they choose right here and now will violently redefine the entire soul of this franchise for years to come. Yet beyond the blinding glare of the quarterback chaos, massive shockwaves of positive energy are surging through this locker room's foundation. Locking down an absolute monster like Max Crosby is a colossal triumph, sending out a terrifying warning shot that Vegas is building a genuine juggernaut. Add in lethal rising weapons like Trey Tucker, and you have a coaching staff practically trembling with anticipation over his explosive ceiling. Kubiak raving about Tucker's relentless grind and lethal speed proves a massive shift. This squad is forging an ironclad culture of ruthlessness and absolute accountability. This gritty street fight mentality is rapidly mutating into the very lifeblood and terrifying hallmark of the entire roster. When all these volatile pieces finally ignite, Vegas will not just survive their offensive identity crisis, they will mutate into the league's most lethal dark horse. The crushing psychological warfare waged on fresh draft picks in today's brutal professional landscape is an absolutely vital piece of this puzzle. Gone are the golden days of nurturing talent. Today's ruthless franchises demand absolute perfection and instant dominance from their top-tier selections. Rabid fan mobs, vicious media frenzies, and astronomical multi-million-dollar contracts create a toxic pressure cooker waiting to explode. This suffocating weight destroys careers, utterly shattering a young star's psyche long before they ever decipher the terrifying speed of Sunday combat. Dodging this lethal landmine is the ultimate difference between crowning a decade-long king and spiraling back into a graveyard of failed quarterback experiments. Beyond the mental torture, the sheer physical brutality and mind-bending tactical warfare present an Everest-sized climb for any fresh-faced signal caller. Leaping from college glory to professional warfare means decoding diabolical defenses, processing at lightning speed, and throwing through impossibly tight kill boxes. Even the most freakish God-given talents will violently crash and burn if denied the crucial grace period to catch their breath. Teams frequently dumb down their offensive arsenals out of pure desperation, effectively castrating their own explosive potential just to keep the playbook manageable. For an elite tactical mind like Klint Kubiak, finding a field general who can unleash the full, unfiltered wrath of a complex playbook is entirely non-negotiable. Looking at the way Vegas is stacking their war room, they are daringly trying to rebuild the engine while driving at 200 miles an hour. Securing their superstars and launching ruthless free agency raids proves one thrilling fact: this front office absolutely refuses to suffer through a pathetic, drawn-out rebuild. Their ironclad loyalty in honoring heavy contracts and securing prime targets releases a massive wave of elite trust radiating from the executives. That rock-solid foundation is the ultimate magnet, practically seducing top-tier free agents, while forging unbreakable brotherhood inside the locker room. But every massive dollar spent skyrockets the stakes, cranking the pressure to win immediately to absolute fever-pitch levels. Ultimately, unleashing hungry new warriors and forging a blood and sweat culture is laying the concrete for a terrifyingly sustained era of dominance. Weapons like Trey Tucker are not just flashing elite speed. They are the living, breathing embodiment of the ferocious fire this coaching staff demands. This savage, unstoppable grind and absolute loyalty to the Shield can weaponize an entire roster, making them capable of destroying any preseason prediction. If Vegas successfully fuses elite veteran brains with explosive youth and killer culture, they are not just chasing playoffs, they are actively building an absolute empire. The most thrilling twist in this entire saga is how pure, terrifying chaos is suddenly birthing explosive, once-in-a-lifetime opportunities. Having a vacant throne at quarterback looks like a nightmare, but it actually sparks a brutal, all-out war for supremacy that rapidly forges diamonds. Backup soldiers who were destined to fade into the background are suddenly thrust into the bright lights, handed the ultimate shot at gridiron immortality. Throwing players into an absolute pressure, Cooker forces them to either tap into uncharted levels of greatness or get left behind in the dust. Throwing hungry rookies into a high-stakes battle for starting spots absolutely supercharges their growth while forging an unstoppable deep roster. When everything hangs in the balance, ironclad locker room leadership becomes the ultimate lifeline holding the franchise together. Battle-tested veterans must deliver explosive plays under the lights while simultaneously dragging green rookies through the brutal fires of professional football. True leadership eclipses mere playbook mastery. It demands forging an unbreakable culture of relentless preparation, fierce discipline, and sheer mental armor. Las Vegas deliberately recruited seasoned warriors, proving they violently understand that a bulletproof culture dictates victory just as much as raw athleticism. An alpha presence behind closed doors becomes the anchor, steadying the ship when chaos strikes and protecting the mission through a grueling campaign. You also cannot ignore the masterminds on the sidelines. A ruthless coaching philosophy dictates exactly how raw potential transforms into legendary greatness. Klint Kubiak refuses to chase cheap, fleeting thrills, demanding instead a rigid, calculated architecture built for an enduring reign. That patient blueprint fiercely defies a toxic league-wide obsession with overnight glory that routinely crushes young prospects before they even blossom. By championing a grueling developmental grind, Kubiak is betting the house on establishing a devastating dynasty rather than a one-hit wonder. While this bold strategy enrages impatient critics, weathering that storm ultimately forges a terrifyingly consistent juggernaut capable of dominating for years. The ultimate trial is clinging fiercely to that master plan while surviving the crushing, cutthroat pressure cooker of the modern league. This impending campaign is a trial by fire, a brutal, high-stakes gauntlet that will expose the very soul of the silver and black. From crowning their franchise signal caller to orchestrating cutdowns, every single trigger they pull telegraphs their ultimate destiny. Sacrificing today for steady growth guarantees agonizing growing pains, but it pours the unbreakable concrete necessary for a future empire. However, blindly chasing a quick dopamine hit of instant victories risks dragging them right back into the familiar graveyard of failed franchises. Walking this razor-thin tightrope is an absolutely terrifying balancing act, where one slip spells disaster, victory, or spectacular failure. Their explosive saga will become the ultimate masterclass in modern gridiron warfare, locker room dominance, and survival. Hovering menacingly over every move is the deafening roar of relentless fan demands and absolutely savage media scrutiny. In this hyper-connected battlefield, one single front office move triggers a massive explosion of instant, ruthless digital crossfire across the globe. That suffocating spotlight engineers a terrifyingly toxic panic, threatening to completely derail the master plan in favor of immediate bloodlust. A ravenous hunger for immediate trophies frequently corners executives into suicidal gambles like throwing completely raw rookies straight to the wolves. Surviving the impending storm requires Las Vegas to completely black out the deafening outside noise and fiercely defend their strategic blueprint. Throw in the terrifyingly rapid evolution of modern scoring attacks, and the battlefield becomes an absolute nightmare to navigate. Today's gridiron wars weaponize blistering speed and lightning-fast tactical strikes, placing an unimaginably crushing psychological burden directly on the quarterback. A fresh prospect to not just memorize a binder, he must flawlessly execute split-second magic while terrifying monsters hunt him down. That brutal reality screams for the necessity of keeping unproven talent safely on the bench before tossing them into the meat grinder. Neutering the playbook might grab a cheap win today, but it ultimately suffocates the lethal, high-octane ceiling this offense truly possesses. The ultimate high-wire act for the sideline commanders is forging a weapon that is beautifully simplistic yet devastatingly complex. Looking at their aggressive offseason maneuvers, it is painfully clear this franchise is plotting a massive multi-year hostile takeover. Locking down their apex predators and forging absolute brotherhood proves they are pouring concrete for a dynasty of relentless dominance. Executing this strike demands ice-cold patience. Unbreakable locker room warfare bonds are forged through fire, not summoned overnight. Betting everything on savage grit, militant discipline, and homegrown killers screams that Vegas is building an impenetrable fortress rather than renting mercenaries. It completely strips away the flashy Hollywood glamour. But this blue-collar warfare creates a terrifyingly unshakable championship-caliber machine. Las Vegas now stands at the edge of an epic cliff, a do-or-die crossroads destined to dictate their legacy for decades. Every trigger pulled on their gunslinger, their trenches, and their sacred brotherhood will permanently brand the immortal identity of this franchise. Make no mistake, a flawless roadmap does not exist here, only incredibly dangerous gambles and razor-sharp, high-stakes tactical strikes. Whether they choose agonizing slow-burn growth or chaotic, breakneck aggression, their ultimate survival hinges entirely on violently executing their chosen blueprint. One absolute truth remains. Navigating this explosive era of transformation promises a gauntlet of brutal warfare and legendary history-making triumph. Staring down the barrel of the future, the ultimate game changer is whether they can seamlessly fuse today's violence with tomorrow's empire. Rebuilding squads are completely torn apart by an agonizing civil war, chasing instant Sunday glory versus stockpiling ammunition for an enduring dynasty. Nowhere is this bleeding-edge tension more explosive than under center, where one single snap can either win the war or shatter a prospect. Slamming the panic button on a young gunslinger unleashes a catastrophic chain reaction that can plunge a franchise into a multi-year dark age. The front office must act like absolute snipers, calculating raw talent and pinpoint timing so every single bullet serves their masterful endgame. Yet as the visceral chaos of the season detonates around them, their ability to aggressively adapt on the fly becomes supreme. You can script every single play, but the gridiron is pure chaos, shattered bones. Sudden slumps and split-second miracles will instantly blow up your entire blueprint. Champions are forged by adapting, bending to the raging storm, while their fundamental soul remains absolutely unbreakable. As previously revealed, the Raiders' fierce obsession with pure toughness, relentless grind, and cutthroat roster battles will become their deadliest weapon to survive this brutal onslaught. By embracing chaos without sacrificing their fierce DNA, they will weaponize the unknown, transforming absolute danger into the ultimate foundation for a legendary championship dynasty.